Good morning and welcome back to the Faith and Formation podcast. It is Friday, October 10th, and today we're looking at 2 Samuel chapter 16. Hey, it's Friday. I hope that you've had a great week so far, and we're looking up into the weekend. We're coming up on it here. For our teenagers, we have a soccer and volleyball game today, so we're looking forward to that. And thank you to all you that are jumping in and joining us here this morning. If you have the devotional, if you're one of our teenagers, you'll see there the one there. It's called David's Longsuffering. David's Longsuffering. That's the topic we're going to look at here this morning from 2 Samuel chapter 16. But before we do that, let's go ahead and look at our memory verse for this week. That, of course, comes from Proverbs 14 and verse 34. It says there, "Righteousness exalteth a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people." Proverbs 14 and verse 34. So commit that to memory. Nice, easy verse. Hopefully that can be a blessing to you. So David's long-suffering. If you haven't read 2 Samuel 16, put a quick pause on this, take a look and read through there, and then you come on back, and hopefully you can see what we have in our devotional here this morning, see what God has for us. All right, our text verse this morning is actually verse 11. Verse 11 has it's a longer verse, but part of it in there that David is speaking. And he says, "Let him alone, and let him curse, for the Lord hath bidden him." So we need a little context for this verse. What's happening? What's going on? Well, if we back up a little bit, David here, he's traveling, he's moving around. And a man that's of the house of Saul, his name Shimei, comes out of somewhere, from his home somewhere, where he is at, he comes out, and he starts cursing David, yelling at him, cursing him. He's even throwing rocks, he's throwing stones, the Bible tells us, at David. And, he didn't like it, of course. None of us would like that if we had rocks thrown at us. And so a servant of David's looks at him and says, "Let me go take care of this guy," and actually asks to cut his head off. He says, "Let me go take it. There's no way that this, as the Bible quotes, dead dog should be saying these things to you. Why should he be yelling at you, cursing you, throwing stones at you? Why should he be doing this? Let me go and take care of it for you." And David says, no, just hold on a little bit. There's no need for that. I know he's throwing stones at us. He's yelling and cursing at me. I understand that. But even so, there's no need for you to go and to take his life because of that. And we see some patience and long-suffering from David. And he brings up the fact that the Lord may have told him to do that, to go and to curse him. So I'm not going to take the risk of doing this and taking someone's life for it either way. So we see here a moment of time in David's life where he has some patience and some long-suffering. And I got to thinking about our own lives. What are some things that happen in our lives with friends, family, whoever it is around us, that they're doing things, they're saying things, whatever it is that is annoying, it gets on our nerves maybe, or something a little worse, it's offensive and we don't like it, it's against us directly. Those kind of things happen a lot. They happen probably weekly to everyone. And David here is showing us a mature response to that. He's getting cursed at and rocks, like actual physical stones thrown at him. And even through that, he tells his servant, "Hey, don't go and take care of it. It's okay. We can let him be." And so what a great quality. I think one that we can try and emulate in our own lives. Say, hey, these kind of things are going to happen. Life isn't going to be fair, but we can be patient and long-suffering and work through it and get past it, and maybe even try and help the other person who tried to hurt us. The Bible tells us that we shouldn't repay evil for evil, but instead be good to those that hurt you or that are mean to you or whatever it is. Kind of like Christ telling the Hebrew people that when a Roman soldier comes and asks you to carry his coat a mile, carry it 2 miles. Now, the Romans were, of course, enemies of Israel and of the Jews, heavy enemies, and they ruled over them, and Israel, the Jews, did not like it. But even in that, God said, hey, these might be your enemies, but take the time and the effort to be good to them, and that is what will change hearts and minds. It's not repaying evil for evil. The Bible tells us that that's not correct. That's not what you're supposed to do either. So the question for us is then, how do we react when things aren't going our way, when someone's not being kind and nice to us, when they're being annoying or even offensive? How do we take it? So just ask that question to yourself here this morning. How am I taking things that happen that I don't like, that I don't prefer, that aren't going my way? How do I react to that? So much of our Christian life is based on how we react to things. Stuff's going to happen. Like we mentioned, everyone goes through things, experiences, good and bad. It happens to everybody. How do we react to that? This is going to tell you a lot about yourself. So this morning, just take a second and think about, how are my reactions? How are my reactions? Are they good? Are they bad? How can I work on those? And pray. Ask the Lord, hey, Lord, show me some things that I need to work on that can make me better as a Christian, that can grow me closer to you and closer to other people. How I can be a good testimony, a good example in all of these ways. And then that way you can actually help those people that are not being good to you or doing right by you. You can be a help to them. And most of all, we want to step aside and let God work in their hearts. He's the one that can change people. And so if we can be more Christ-like, point the way to him, to anybody, and allow him to do the work, that's the goal. That's what we want to see done. And he ultimately is going to be the one that's going to provide the increase or that change in people's hearts and lives. All right, so a little lesson there from David and his long-suffering, letting this perfect stranger yell at him and throw things at him without repercussions because of some patience and long-suffering. Patience is tough. It's hard. But if we pray about it, if we ask the Lord for it, he can help us with our patience. All right. Well, as you go to prayer with your devotionals this morning or throughout the day, let's make sure we spend a little extra time praying about your church today. Whether it's the pastor, the ministries there at the church, other fellow church members, friends, whatever it is, spend a little extra time praying for your church today. And bring that before the Lord and ask him to be there and be a part of the church. Without his spirit, power is not going to be on the church. So make sure you spend a little extra time praying for your church today. And then for our teenagers, I want to spend a little extra time praying for Quinn, one of our teenage girls. If you would mention her, lift her name up as you go to prayer this morning. All right, thanks again for joining us here at the Faith in Formation podcast. A little lesson there from the life of David. Hopefully it will be a help and a blessing to you. We'll see you next time.